A mother shows her 5-year-old son a baby photo. He's drooling in a high chair, face covered in mashed peas. He laughs, but then she asks, "Do you remember this?" He shakes his head, totally blank, like that moment never happened at all. But here's the weird part. Almost no one on Earth remembers being a baby. No matter where you live, how smart you are, or what language you speak, remembering your first birthday is almost impossible. It doesn't make sense. Those were our lives. So where did those memories go? Scientists call this childhood amnesia, and it starts in the crib. Even famous people forget. Albert Einstein, Beyoncé, your neighbor down the street, all total strangers to their own baby years. The truth is, babies live amazing little lives, learning to walk, picking up new sounds, tasting everything around them. But none of us can recall our first steps or what the world looked like from a playpen. And here's one thing almost nobody knows. Even if you show someone video proof of their own baby years, it still won't spark an actual memory. Just a strange feeling that you should remember. Why are our brains set up this way? What actually stops us from remembering those incredible first years? It turns out the answer has to do with how our brains are built. When we're babies, something's missing. But it gets even stranger. If you could peek inside a baby's head, you'd see that it's a messy construction zone. Deep inside, there's a small, twisty part called the hippocampus. This part works like a memory builder. Without it, nothing lasts long in your mind. But in newborns, the hippocampus isn't finished yet. It only starts wiring up properly during the first few years of life. Here's something wild. In the first year, a baby's hippocampus is half the size of an adult's. That means the main record button for memories is still glitchy. So even if babies have experiences all day long, most of those just vanish. Scientists figured this out by scanning sleeping infants with MRI machines and tracking brain growth. Australian researchers in 2014 showed how the hippocampus nearly doubles in size between age 1 and 2. That huge growth spurt changes how memories get saved. But here's the tricky part. While the hippocampus is under construction, babies rely on simpler brain parts. Those other parts can help remember feelings or flashes of sights, but not full stories. Think of it like scribbling on a chalkboard you have to erase every day. As the hippocampus finishes its blueprint, those old scribbles vanish for good. But it gets stranger. Animals show the very same pattern. In one study, young rats could learn to find food in a maze, but a few weeks later, they seem to forget everything, just like human babies. So it isn't just humans who lose baby memories. The reason links straight back to the hippocampus growing up. But the biggest surprise? Even after the hippocampus is built, early childhood memories still disappear faster than you'd expect. Imagine being a baby, lying in a crib, staring up at a spinning red mobile with sunlight dancing on the wall. You're not thinking in words or sentences yet. Your mind is just soaking up colors, sounds, and feelings. Your memories work differently now. You record the world with senses rather than language. For a baby, the scent of mom's shirt or the tingling feel of a warm bottle are like entire stories. But here's the strange part. These earliest memories don't have words, because babies haven't learned language yet. It's like saving a file in a secret code only babies understand, but adults forget how to read. Researchers found that 6-month-old babies can remember a puppet trick for at least 24 hours, even if they can't talk about it later. But as kids start speaking, the brain shifts to using words to store memories. Sights and smells get left behind. A famous experiment in the 1980s showed that when children were asked to describe an event before and after they learned language, they only remembered details they could put into words. So there's a hidden wall. Memories made before we had words can feel real, but we can't unlock them without language. And it gets even weirder. Some memories seem to survive as flashes of strong feeling rather than as clear pictures. That's why a certain smell, like the soap at grandma's, can bring a wave of emotion, even if you can't remember the day. Scientists call these implicit memories, memories you feel in your body or gut, not in words. But what happens to all those baby memories trapped behind the language wall? Here's the strange part. Tiny children actually do make memories, even as babies. But these baby memories work differently from adult ones. A 6-month-old can remember a song for up to 2 weeks. But by the time they turn 1, that same memory fades in just 1 day. Here's the wow part. In 2000, scientists showed infants a puppet doing a dance, and weeks later, the babies could copy the moves if they were reminded, even if they seemed to forget. But unless they got a little hint, it was like the whole memory had vanished. So young brains do store memories, they just use a temporary locker instead of a permanent vault. This is why early memories usually fade quickly, like writing in sand before the tide comes in. But it gets stranger. These baby memories aren't just lost, they're stored differently. For example, babies remember the feel of a blanket or a parent's smell before they remember any words. So even though baby brains are recording things, they're using a totally different system than grown-ups. As the brain grows, that old system is tossed out, and the new one doesn't always understand the old code. But what happens when kids do seem to remember something from before they could talk? The answer points to a weird way our early memories survive, or vanish. Here's the strange twist. Even memories we did store as babies can vanish, not because they're destroyed, but because our brain itself changes the locks. Our brains go through a major remodel between ages 2 and 7, almost like tearing down walls and rebuilding rooms while the house is still lived in. This overhaul is so dramatic that connections between brain cells are renewed, rewired, or even pruned away. In fact, brain scientists call this synaptic pruning. Your brain trims extra branches so it can work better as you grow up. But here's the wow. In a 2014 experiment, Canadian researchers watched the newborn mice form memories using certain brain pathways. Then, just weeks later, those same mice lost access to those memories when their brain circuits got restructured. This reshaping happens in our brains too, and may hide our earliest memories out of reach, still buried somewhere, but locked behind new wiring. Another real surprise. Language may act like a brand new operating system for our brain. Once we learn words, our brains reorganize memories around language. So old, nonverbal baby memories become even harder to find. It's a bit like upgrading the software on a phone, but losing all your old photos because the new system can't open them anymore. Here's one more twist. As our brains erase old pathways, they open up space for millions of new facts, stories, and skills, like learning to ride a bike or counting. But scientists are still chasing one last mystery. If our earliest memories are buried by rewiring, is there any way to ever unlock them? But here's the strange part. Even when we see baby photos or hear stories from our parents, we still can't recall being that little ourselves. We might see a picture of ourselves eating cake on our first birthday, but we don't actually remember the taste, the room, or the laughter. Instead, when someone tells us about our childhood, our minds fill in the blanks using imagination and the feelings we have now. It's like watching a blurry movie. The faces might look familiar, but the scenes are mostly guesswork. Here's a surprising fact. Scientists gave adults pictures of their own first birthday, but secretly switched the photos with another baby's party. Many people still said they remembered the moment in the fake photo. Their brains built a memory out of thin air. So even with real stories and pictures, our mind often combines true events with what we imagine must have happened. This isn't lying, it's just the brain trying to make sense of a distant, missing piece. Another wow detail. Before age 2, most kids can't even describe memories in words yet, so when they grow up, they can't decode those old feelings or pictures. Even as adults, some people are sure they remember their birth or being in the crib. But in studies, these memories usually mix family stories, photos, and pure imagination. One real-life example, psychologist Jean Piaget believed he remembered being kidnapped as a baby, but later his mother told him the story was invented by their nurse. Even the strongest baby memory might just be a story we've heard so many times it feels real. So we can see photos and hear stories, but the true memories from our baby years are mostly out of reach. And often what we recall is a blend of fact, feeling, and fantasy. That's why we can't remember being babies. Our mind tries to paint in the lost details, but the real scenes are gone. But here's an even weirder one. Why do our hands shrivel up in water?